We've got Tim today coming as SAS. Are you tough enough?
Yeah, very good. Yeah, well,
How long have you been thinking of that?
Got fucking toothpaste down my top, Jesse.
We've had a quick clean of this top, don't you worry, I'm all good.
This is a
We're good. No, we're running.
Right. Welcome back to the podcast. And I mean, the first thing I'll say is, Justin, why have you got so many watches in front of you?
It's like Christmas morning, you know that kid that snuffles all of the presents, even if they're not theirs,
Oh my
and puts
goodness.
them all in front of you and has a little shake, and you're sort of having a guess as to what. Anyway,
I can't be. It's problem is, it's trying to herd these people, and when there's so many watches in front of you, it's really, really difficult. And Justin's just grabbing things left, right, center, things coming out of boxes, out of pockets. You know, you just don't know. And then all of a sudden, we've got 4 watches in front of you, 1 on the wrist.
and we've got Tim today coming as SAS. Are you tough enough?
Very good. Yeah, well,
How long have
at
you been
least I
thinking of
haven't
that?
got fucking toothpaste down my top, Jesse.
We've had a quick clean of this top, don't you worry, I'm all good.
Right. So
So throw stones at me.
I'm going to cover off the agenda very, very
go for
quickly
it.
to start with, just so that people know what to expect. And we have all, other than Jake, been to Watches and Wonders in one way or another. So you two, as part of the watch industry, I'm good. You know, I think, Justin, you're definitely a watch journalist. I think you would
That's
say.
stretching my
Stretching,
remit.
yeah, maybe a
that
watch
is what I've-
influencer. And you've been there as with Subdial and Zenith, haven't you?
Yeah, and you'll listen down.
And you're snowed down.
So yeah, we were part of the press team this year, which was new for us.
That's really nice.
Yeah, it was cool.
And I was invited by Langer in Frankfurt, which was amazing to see on a press day. So I spent a bit of time with the two of you. And Jake, you were at home
looking at.
looking in, feeling a bit left out with
I
a
like
sick kid.
no one wants to hear about my week, but I just had like loads of really intense work, stuff I forgot was needed that week, and then my whole family were ill as well. So I was just I was in the trenches. And you know what? I've never actually been that fussed about going. Like I like vintage over kind of more modern stuff, and I've always thought that. But this year, with all these things, it's about the people, isn't it? And I was like, no, I want to just be with you guys to go and have fun and look at all this stuff. So yeah, it was a longer week. I got a Goodwood members meeting in there, which I think arguably might even trump Watches and Wonders if you like me.
Good. And
It doesn't.
so firstly, we're gonna cover off our wrist checks, because we're all wearing the watches we were gifted by Tim, the Easter Bunny, the chocolate pouches he was laid, and as you can see, Tim has refused to put it on.
We should say actually though, if for anyone who didn't stay till the end of the last episode, this will not click.
Yeah.
But we were all given a watch by Tim at the end of the last episode that we're all wearing today.
I think we were all agree that I was particularly kind.
And we chose one for you.
Yeah.
So
I was
you kick
particularly
us off,
kind.
Will,
You
yeah.
guys were, what's the opposite of kind?
Nasty,
Yeah.
mean.
That. It was that.
So we should probably come clean, shouldn't we? We should probably come clean and say that there was a cliffhanger at the end of the last episode.
Yes.
But there was also a technical glitch which helped us, right? So it worked. It all came together perfectly. George's face.
You're
We
not
should say-
supposed to tell them that.
No. It's absolutely right. And it worked out perfectly because we were like, actually, that's the perfect cliffhanger for this.
Yeah.
And so what have you got there, Tim Boy? Just tell us what
So
you
this
got.
is a Hoya Monaco. It's an early one. I think
60s, yeah.
60s. I have nothing good to say about it. Objectively, it's a nice watch. Like it does all, it's got heritage as a tour watch, it's iconic. But for me, it's just like this awful, unrefined block of stainless steel on my wrist that I can't keep it on for more than 5 minutes without taking it off because it makes me feel cross.
Why? Like
Right.
I was a part of the team that picked it. but
Uncomfortable.
When you say a part of the team,
You
it was
drove
your
it. You
choice.
drove it.
Yeah,
That's
Yeah.
not true.
yeah.
Well,
We drove it.
You're gonna,
George,
there's
share
gonna
the
be
WhatsApp
comeuppance.
chat. Celine did all the work. I just said,
So
I'm
we
here for the
did have
Monaco.
another option, didn't we? I can't quite remember what the other
It was
option
the
was.
Speedmaster Ultraman.
Have you seen how that fits on a wrist? It's.
But is it not like unashamedly itself? Like it's not supposed to be a Cartier.
No,
it's a
but I
vintage
don't
Hoya.
even think it's supposed to be a watch. It's just a fucking block of shit.
And
I hate it.
I've actually never handled one.
can we just say it's available now at Subdial?
Right, I'm sorry. That was strong, but I'm feeling a bit unwell.
Yeah, I might try it on.
I actually like the colour of that dial, and the brush finish is nice.
I think the strap's not doing it any
The strap
favours.
is abominable.
The
I
strap,
can't
the,
defer- I
the
can't
strap
defer-
is as thick as the watch, which can't help.
I hate those middle, like the plumped up middle. You know,
Yeah,
either
but-
go thick and go something textured,
I
or
hate it.
ultra thin or whatever.
That
That
is-
is an abominable strap. Is it after? No, it's the original. It's a Hoya.
Yeah, exactly.
The Hoya by Tag Heuer. It says. I mean, look, it's not. As I agree with you, Jake. It's not trying to be anything else. It is what it is.
The crown needs to be on the other
That a
side.
Goodwood members me. You would have definitely seen one or two of those at Goodwood, right?
100%.
I bet you did. But that's
Just doesn't
where
work with you,
most
typically.
car guys, I would say, don't know good watches. I just don't. If you're a proper car guy, then you're like, oh, I want a Steve McQueen or I don't, all of that iconic and obvious stuff. But if you really know watches and you've had so many on, and I'm really lucky that I have, I know that I like slim cases. I know that I like under the radar designs. And that's so unrefined.
Well, what did you think it said about you as a? Because I think one of the things that we wanted to do is push each other's boundaries with watches that are perhaps new or something that we wouldn't have thought about. Do you think there's something about that you thought maybe it says something about me that I don't like, or is it just design that
Oh, wait,
didn't quite do it for you?
No. I'm not worried about what it says about me. I'm strong enough character to know that, I could, I've literally just bought a Timex. I don't care what I wear as long as it feels good and I enjoy it aesthetically, and I neither feel good or enjoy it aesthetically. I really
It's not that
don't.
bad. I think the strap is really laying
Feel
it
the
down.
edges to the case though. Like underneath,
It's slab-sided.
it's so unrefined.
Quite sharp.
I'm sure sharp is usually a good thing. I think in this example, it just makes it even worse.
A highly polished Monaco would be a better solution.
I think so. Round it down until it's about fucking 36 mil, and then maybe we can have a conversation.
People, you often talk about diameter, but the lug to lug one's quite nice, I'd say. Like,
Mate, you
But the
should get
shape-
that. You should totally get it. Yeah, you get it and enjoy it.
Yeah.
sounds like it might be getting
So
a bit
I-
cheaper.
I like it on you, Jake. I really do.
Yeah. Have you tried it on?
As I say,
I think I'm all right.
as I say,
Come on. Come on.
like objectively, it's not a bad watch. It's just not for me. I don't have the wrist for it.
What's the longest you wore it for?
4 minutes?
Did you time it on the
Be
chronograph?
honest, be honest. Did it actually leave these premises?
No. Wait, a week on the wrist? Or was it known as four minutes on the wrist?
Wearing it. I'm not wearing it.
So we
It
failed.
makes me feel sad.
Good.
I'm not good,
Yeah.
good enough.
Well, so we failed utterly with Tim then, and I think that's good feedback, at least to know that this is this is not something that really pushed your boundaries.
Sad's not the right
anyway.
word. Cross is the right word. You made me feel cross.
I think
Yeah.
next-
Cross.
If we can get him a blue dial next time, I might.
Well, talking about blue dials, you got a really nice Chopard Quattro. And I was interested to see how that would sit with you compared to your Salmon. And I'm going to be completely honest. When Emma, my wife, rewatched the episode with me, everyone knows Emma by now. Yeah, the better half.
And the clips that will be coming in this episode.
Oh,
later
no,
on,
we can't.
They'll know him even better.
They'll know even better. No, yeah. She immediately said, "Oh, I like that on Jake. A blue dial suits him." And she said the Salmon just didn't work with his skin tone.
This is exactly what I said.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
right,
right.
man. We're right.
So let's see. Go on.
I've
How do you feel?
I've been trying so hard to like consolidate my thoughts on this, and it's really difficult. So I've had the blue dial and the Salmon dial. Obviously, one's 36, 38. This has got the big 8-day power reserve on the dial as well. I have found this. So I'm going to say initially, I agree with the blue dial thing. I'm like, okay, it just became more wearable to me at more times. And I just felt really happy wearing it. And I mean that in like, I just felt comfortable. Like most days, I just be like, of course I'm going to put that on because it's just great and it works my life and it suits me. So I feel really torn about this. I want to know how you guys feel about this. It's got an 8-day power reserve on the dial, which I actually found as a super helpful complication on the watch.
Totally.
Like you can see it, like even just having it last 8 days is brilliant. But I find that bit of the watch ugly. And I'm like,
the power reserve bit.
the power reserve bit. So I'm like, I'm annoyed that it's probably the first complication I actually pay attention to. Like, I wear a Speedy, I rarely am like timing things with the chronograph or.
Do you think if they pulled that down slightly, because it's quite high up on the dial, isn't it? In some way, if it,
yeah,
or
that's
on the
what
back.
Grand Seiko do a lot
Grand
of time, isn't it? So
Seiko
put it on the back.
Put it on the back
But
sometimes.
it's helpful on the front. Like you see the front of the watch when it's on your
But
wrist.
you don't need it every 8. You know, if
You
you're
don't
looking at
need
it
it.
once every 8 days, you don't
So-
need it front and center.
So really
And-
tall on
and I
that,
think
that side.
the red maybe also throws it off balance. You've got this beautiful blue dial with just a little bit hints of white, and then you've got the red for the end of the power reserve.
Imagine if the logo wasn't there and it was pulled down in line with the Subdial verse, so there was a bit of harmony. That for me has always been the thing. It's just seemingly very high up on the dial. That's it. I agree with you that it's slightly jarring.
So and like from a wearability perspective, whilst they're very, very similar watches, I kind of put them in like Lange 1 category, 1815 category for the 38, 36. And I felt I was wearing the salmon dial to dress up a little bit, and I was wearing the 38 just as more of a daily enjoyable watch. Value-wise, it's obviously half the price of a salmon dial, like, or the blue dial actually, 36 mil. I think it's amazing value. I was actually out for dinner last night with a couple of friends who are like interested in watches, but I wouldn't say they're watch guys necessarily. So I just showed them. I was like, I'm going to be talking about this on the podcast. Like, what do you think? They loved it. They were like, oh, I love the heft. I said, what do you think it's worth? Like, how much, what would someone pay for that?
Here we go.
One said 30 grand. The other said 35 grand.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, yeah, like you're pretty spot on. But I was like, you can buy it for 11 grand from Subdial on the
When they
secondary
turned it
market.
over and they saw that movement, because that architecture, that movement, that finishing is stunning. The way it fills the case, I love that movement. It's actually one of my favorite movements ever.
So, like, I feel like I've got a bit of news. We spoke last time that maybe I'll do a bit of a swap, but I've taken another direction. Blue dial power reserve, which I've told some people about, but I haven't told everyone about.
And I may know this because I got a message from a friend.
Oh, I knew it. I knew someone would spoil it. So, I ended up buying the blue dial Lange 1, which is essentially.
Where from?
And where do you think from?
Oh, okay, from Timothy. Did
from
Timothy
Tim.
do you a deal?
He could have done me more of a deal, to be honest.
I'm delighted to see a Lange 1 back in your collection. I'm delighted. I'm delighted.
So these watches are kind of like quite similar. They're both 38. They're both blue dial. They're both time with power reserve, interestingly enough. But the Lange 1 just felt like an even more kind of me watch is what I'm going to say. And yeah, there hasn't been one in the collection before.
So it's interesting. When you say it's a me watch, there are immediately watches that I think about when I think of you guys, and with you, Tim, I think of Cartier, obviously. With you, I actually think of Laurent Ferrier. I don't know what it is, but Laurent Ferrier is maybe it's because of the work you've done with them and things. And Lange 1 is what I think of with you, Jake, whether it's your 027X. And I think it does really resonate with your personality. And I feel like you feel comfortable and at home with a Lange 1 on the wrist, regardless of what configuration, whether it's, you know, a rose gold or an 027X and I really want to stress this because I think we've talked about Lange a lot, but I really do think that every Lange 1 is special, regardless of the configuration. You know, we were out for dinner with Wes from Standard H in Geneva, and he was wearing a white gold, you know, 191 026, and it just looked great.
Yeah, it did. It looked brilliant.
You know,
That's what
fresh.
I actually tried on that exact watch in here like a week or two ago, how long ago. And I was thinking, oh, you know, it's the white gold. And we spoke about the loom. Like, should you get one with the loom? And I was like, oh, I just forgot how good just any Lange 1 is, which also gave me a bit of the push. So yeah, I'm a happy man. Critically, like it's a super early blue dial, it's small MIG, full set, which is amazing. It's actually one of the few, no, not one of the few references I haven't owned, I've owned a handful of Lange 1 references, but this was the one I originally wanted. This is what like kicked it off. I remember basically when I first met Tim, 6-7 years ago, however long, and you were talking about blue dial Lange 1 prices kind of around the world, and they were next to nothing. And I just never quite managed to get one to work. So yeah, to have one in the collection feels really special.
It has a lot of the DNA of this quite special 25th anniversary model with just the blue hints in this and the blue that we've got there. For 15K cheaper, probably. You know, yeah. So
It's a brilliant blue, isn't it?
looks great.
There's blue and then there's blue, and there's lots of different. But the contrast of the subdials against that brush finish of the main dial itself.
And the blue of the 101 reference versus the 191, it's night and day. It's the earlier one is the one to go for, I think.
So yeah, I mean, but truly, like, I mean, it's all watches really, but like my mind has been messed by kind of almost all three of you going like, oh, is the salmon the one for you? Like maybe blue dial's better. So wearing this was amazing, but it probably gave me the push I needed to take that step to this. I feel like we don't have to say like you've just slagged off a Subdial watch for a long time, but the idea that this is 11 grand is actually amazing. So I think if you're someone who's currently like buying Rolex or something like that and wants to get into that first step into that next world, this is probably one of the most affordable ways you can get something of that quality and that feel.
Particularly with what they're asking for the new LUC with the blue dial in steel.
Well, we'll talk about
that in a bit.
We'll talk about that. But I actually wrote an article on my Substack about the new Chopard, and there was a very astute commenter underneath who commented and said that the thing about these Chopards is that they're actually better than anything Patek are releasing at the moment in their Calatrava lines, which is a big statement. But when you look at the LUC movement, the micro rotor, the gear shave finish on the dial for a third of the cost, something like this, you know, it is a good proposition. I don't know if I quite agree about the Calatrava reference, but to be in the same conversation, I think is interesting.
No, I think they're in the same
feels
conversation.
better. And winding it feels better to me.
It's all of the show parts I've felt. I'm like, it's when you hold them. When I first tried, I was like, oh, it feels proper. Like this feels great. Can I ask who spilt it? Who told you?
The gentleman who acquired the salmon dial. Yeah. He slid in and said, because originally when I mentioned, I think I told it to you, he said, God, I would have paid you a lot more than Jake paid you for it. No, he's like, I was desperate for that, and I didn't realize he was. Lovely man, great collector. In fact, he came in and picked up a few bits from you recently. So, but
And he's got a very cool car.
Oh, I think this is fantastic. I really do. I'm curious about the Chopard because I spoke to a friend about this 1860 a few years ago. He was like, I want to buy one, but I don't know about the Chopard brand equity, was how he put it. He was like, why are they not more popular? Why do we not hear more from them? Why do they not garner better returns on the secondary market? And I couldn't quite put my finger on it because Carl Frederick Schuffle, the man there, he's a very elegant man. He's won lots of awards, a GPHG for whatever that's worth. They're in the mix the whole time, but they're not. They're just not really. They're just not. They're somewhere on the outside of the play, even though their booth is literally opposite Tudor and next to Patek and Rolex. I mean, they're there. They're literally geographically, but in our minds, and I think people coming in through the doors in boutiques around the world today, it's like they're not really in people's minds, which is quite interesting.
It is. It's
they're doing the main thing though, which is making a good product.
Really good product.
Which is that's surely where you got to start. You just got to get everyone to feel it.
So you're in their back pocket right now, Slim. I'll see.
Yeah. So
your recent pickup.
I mean, I got an LUC travel case from Chopard, which is really. I don't have a Chopard inside it, but they gave me a really nice kind of 2-watch roll, which is great. And I had a really good experience with Chopard. And it was actually probably my first time really digging deep and getting hands-on with their products, getting to see the really rare market, like straw marquetry stuff, which is amazing, the enamel jump hours. And actually, I preferred that stuff to the 1860. But, you know, we'll cover that off in the Watches and Wonders segment. But you got given a lovely Zenith Daytona, which I think is probably a lot of people's dream watch. Imagine being given a Zenith Daytona to test drive for 2 weeks.
I'm so nervous what he's going to say.
And I should say one thing is that we've been really careful not to let the cat out of the bag to each other about what we I mean, we knew what Tim thought.
Yeah, but I thought Tim was going to wear it for more than 4 minutes.
Yeah,
I knew it wasn't leaving this building.
Yeah.
I knew Tim wasn't leaving this building.
But so I'm really interested in, and people have also been DMing me and saying, what did Justin think of the Zenith Daytona? People are waiting to hear your first Rolex experience.
I'm nervous, and I've not published. I think we were also conscious not to talk to each other about these things, but also not to publish anything online about maybe what we had, because we wanted to keep it a secret. Now I recognize all those things, especially about the fact this is a grail. I'm conscious of that. This is an absolute grail for anyone at any point in their collecting journey. A Rolex Daytona, Patrizzi dial, Zenith Daytona, and when I got it, you saw my excitement. I was genuinely excited because I've never owned a Rolex. I am on the lookout for a Rolex that resonates with me. How long have we had this for? How long have we had it for?
A couple of weeks.
Couple of weeks, maybe a month now.
Coming up to 3 weeks.
3 weeks. I've not put it on once. Not once. And I've not been inclined to put it on either. I genuinely never reached for it once. I did at home. I had it on at home when I arrived home, and Nat's response, so I have got this on video. I have got this on video where I told her, look, this is coming in and it's got a Zenith movement in, by the way. And she just got up and walked out the room. And I tell you why. Not because the product's not fantastic. I know the product's fantastic. The bracelet's lovely. The feel of that vintagey feel. I love the clanginess of it. I love all of that. I love the aged subdials. I look down at it and it's not me. It's not me. It's not me.
Someone
It just
else's
doesn't
wrist.
feel right. It's not me. It's someone else's wrist. And it could be any of you boys. And I would have thoroughly enjoyed seeing it. I genuinely had to fight. And I tell you this is the truth. This is the truth. If anyone was ever wondering if we're in the pocket of Eddie Brad's, this is the truth. I got it out of the watch box. I put it on my wrist. This happened 3 or 4 times. And I said, today, this is like a Saturday, Sunday. We've got a little coffee. We got a little walk in the park. I'm going to wear it today. I got downstairs, took it off and put something else on. That's the absolute honest truth.
Is it the feel? Is it the feel on the wrist?
No,
Is it the?
No, the feel on the wrist is good. I would say that because I've been wearing this mid-size Rolex, so it's the same size as this two-tone, I've fallen in love with this size and I feel very comfortable. I might get some pushback on this because this is a 40mm watch.
Yeah.
This is 36mm.
Yeah, but it wears bigger. It wears 38 or so.
And I love this size now. I've fallen in love with it. Whereas I'm not thinking this is not actually where I'm at my happiest right now.
For me looking at you, that looks absolutely perfect on wrist. And, I really think Tim's tried his best there because you've got, in my opinion, the best of, other than 4-digit Daytona, you've got the best of a Daytona there with the Zenith. And the subdials are
That little
symmetrical. They're lower than the modern Rolex movement. So the El Primero movement, they had that symmetrical subdials. I think Tim's really tried there to give you a good Rolex experience, and I'm a bit sad. I'm actually because I'm a Rolex.
I just feel like we're trying to give helpful views of on the wrist, and 2 of you haven't even worn the watch.
No. But it's not through lack of effort. I'll say that.
No, same with me.
It's not through lack of effort. Tim, you've given up on it. You're a disgrace. You're a disgrace at every level. I tried my absolute best, and I really did. I put it on 3 times, 4 times. There is also, interestingly, there is talking of wobble, because before we started filming, we were talking about shake, the movement and stuff. There is a fair whack of stuff going on in here. Like, it's not a kind of...
Probably when you were shaking it at the end of the last episode.
It's not a can of Skittles, but it's not... There's something in there. I like the buckle a lot.
Probably the
I
end
really like this buckle a lot.
Wow, you're clutching at straws, aren't you?
I've got a question for you.
It's not me. And you'll see Nat's response to it.
When we met last time, I had my 36mm Explorer, and it really suited you. And
Yeah,
you were
I like that.
I'm quite
I like
liking
that.
it.
I like
Do you
that.
think you would have enjoyed that more than this?
Yeah, I do. And I think because this is so interesting enough, because
Yeah.
I actually think this is so quintessentially Rolex. This is undeniably Rolex. What I'm drawn to when it comes to Rolex is there's a GMT nipple dial at the moment, the gold case with a strap. And then there's a 1019, which we tried on together, an old Milgauss at 38mm. So those watches, I'm thinking, okay, that's interesting. I did even ask for, did I ask for this? I think I might have even asked to see this because it's so bizarre. and it's so unexpected, you know, that I might even have enjoyed that. But this is
for
almost
audio only. Solid gold sub.
solid gold sub, solid gold
black
sub.
dial.
But this is so quick. What you've done here, Tim, is you've given me the absolute epitome of what a Rolex is at its very best.
Yeah.
Very best. And I thank you for that. I don't for a second want to be seen as unappreciative for it, because I'm just not. And I'm so delighted to have it, but it's not up on my radar as something that I want. And I'm so delighted to have had the time with it.
Yeah.
So few people get that chance, which we've had. So that's my feedback, boys.
Well, I think getting the experience, whether positive or negative, is really important to know. And I think to people out there who may also be thinking about jumping into either their first Rolex or their first Daytona, you having that experience as someone who doesn't really play in that field is probably quite valuable. And being able to give that open, because most people, when they do a review like that of something like a Zenith Daytona, it's after putting their own money down and owning it. And sometimes you feel a bit embarrassed to say, actually, I've spent 20 odd grand on this watch, and it doesn't.
We were talking about this, Salim, before we started filming, and I think this is something that we're genuinely excited about, is that you and I particularly go through lots of different watches, and that's what we're here to do. That's what this show is all about, is going through as many experiences as possible, sharing legitimate, honest feedback. I'm not sure there are many Zenith Daytona reviews out there that will say, I struggled, I fought tooth and nail to put it on my wrist. Fought tooth and nail to put it on my wrist.
Oh, your life is hard, isn't it?
40 millimeters in titanium.
It's really hard being
Something slightly, you know, okay, we're going to talk about this slightly later on in the episode, because Salim's got some questions he needs answering about the Sport Auto, but this feels very much at home to me. Now, I'll tell you why, because I look down, I see that name on the dial, and I feel associated to that name on the dial, which is off the beaten track. I feel that represents me better, because it's a bit oddball. It's a bit unusual. It requires a bit further inspection from anyone who can be that way inclined to ask. And I'm like, yeah, good, boom. Okay, cool. So there we go.
So, I mean, we've got almost 3 negative reviews here, which is...
Whoa. I'm not negative.
Well,
It drove him into a purchase.
It drove you into
Just
a
wait, it's driven
of a different watch.
of a different watch,
Yeah,
but something that's been inspired by it.
I just feel very fortunate that I could afford this. If I couldn't, I potentially would have swapped them.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I cannot champion that watch enough.
Okay. Fine. So we got 2 negative reviews, a positive review, and I guess that brings me on to me.
Potentially 2 purchases as a result as well, but go
Potentially
on.
2 purchases.
Go on.
So, I mean, so Tim, you were super kind with this. I mean, I saw one of the comments underneath the last video, and he just said, you know, as your first Cartier to be given a 100th anniversary Centre is, you know, it just doesn't get better. It does not get better than this. And I have been someone who, in the past, Cartier for me, actually, I've seen it more as a high jewelry brand rather than a high horology brand. And, you know, not to, and this is how I had seen it over the last, you know, 10, 15 years of collecting. And I wonder whether that comes from the, you know, just before the CP era, where they were making lots of ladies' quartz watches and things. And that's just how it's stuck in my mind as a jewelry brand. And I've been Cartier curious, but never enough to pull my own credit card out. And this has changed that for me. I put this on and I just couldn't believe the Centre. Honestly, when the first time I saw it in person, it's the curvature of the watch, it's the slimness, the color of the dial, which is just like aged parchment, the breguet hands, even the cabochon on the crown. It's just it feels like there's so much heritage there, so much history there.
Yeah.
And it really, I put it on and I have loved it. Honestly, I have absolutely loved it on my wrist. And I look down and I see it, and sometimes I just stare.
And Emma responded well as well.
She loved it as well.
The video I referenced earlier will not be going live, unfortunately, based on the.
Could you explain can we say what the video is?
I think we can, right?
Yeah.
So you sent us a video of Emma in your matrimonial suite. And she was in bed. I don't know, was it before bed or in the morning when she woken up? Or
No, it was straight after I'd got home from,
So it was
from
late night.
receiving this, late night.
She was going to sleep.
10 p.m. She was going to sleep.
Sorry,
And I
it was a bit dark.
I burst in from the airport.
So excited with it.
So excited with this watch. And I just said, Emma, look at this. And her immediate reaction was, wow, you know,
Yeah.
wow.
But critically, you filmed it.
Yeah.
Well, the difference between your wife and my wife is fucking amazing.
Same.
If I said that, my wife would be like, "Get the fuck out!" See,
I'm in this spare room anyway. So there's no way she could. There's no way she'd send me, but I get the same response for sure. I loved her response because it was authentic.
Yeah,
It was energized. It was honest. She genuinely, you could tell, she really thought it was
Well,
sexy.
I also wanted to show you of, you know, the appreciation from me,
Yeah.
you know, as to how excited I was to get this on the wrist. And so I then went to Japan with this watch and I felt $1 million. Honestly, I literally felt $1 million and I was wearing it around, and it then got me thinking about Cartier. And I then went into the Cartier boutiques and I was thinking, actually, what is this brand all about?
yeah,
And I'm sad to say that there was nothing that's readily available that really, you know, that once you've had this on wrist, you can't just go in and buy a Tank Must. I'm sorry, or a Santos automatic, because they just don't. They don't
it's not
have
the same thing.
It really isn't.
No. It's a real shame actually, because what Cartier watches really are is not what's available for sale in the stores, because their stores, you know, obviously sell jewelry and bags and everything, and the watches that they have are just the ones that they churn out. But if they had a store where you could see all of the shapes and the history, you would feel completely different about it.
Yeah, and these watches are so rare. I felt strangely defensive about it. I remember going into the Cartier boutique in Ginza in Tokyo, and the gentleman behind the desk was like, "Oh, you're wearing a nice Tank American," and I was like, "This is not an American. This is a 100th anniversary Centre. You know, how dare you? This is such a special watch." And
That's outrageous.
yeah,
That man needs to run a better job, a different job.
But I felt so defensive about it just because it's such a special watch.
Did you think they clocked it? Like when you walked into these places in Japan, did they spot it and then treat you?
When I went to a few different secondary dealers, I think they saw it and they're like, "Oh, Centre, beautiful watch." I'm so new to the Cartier scene that I don't feel confident enough to go out and just, you know, start telling people about this watch, etc. And talking about confidence, I would say the one thing, maybe as a criticism of myself more than the watch,
Probably.
yeah, is that I don't know whether I'm elegant enough for a watch like this. You know, yeah, because I spend most of my time, working I'm either in a suit but not looking as good as you guys in a suit, or at home with the boys, t-shirt, jeans, etc. And this watch I feel deserves to be worn by someone with the sprezzatura, as Justin would say.
Sprezzatura, like the Alessandro Scorsi's at all. Can I try it on? Can I try it on?
I'm sure everyone's watching has seen like the John Mayer talking watches 1 and 2, but I'm confident is when he's talking about his piece unique 5004 Patek, and he's got it engraved as like Mr. J.C. Mayer, and he's like, "I'm not Mr. J.C. Mayer," but he likes the idea of being able to put on a watch and pretending he's that person. I think he talks about like another one. He talks about like picking up dog poo, but in a perpetual calendar chronograph. Like, I think that should be like the little bit of power of watches. Like you said, you rocked up Tokyo just feeling like an absolute badass. Like, I think you should be able to be in like your swimming shorts and a t-shirt and be like, "Yeah, but my watch is really a black tie watch, but I'm rocking it and it's cool." Like,
I can't say enough good things about it, and it's really, really got me down the rabbit hole of researching Cartier. A Collected Man has a lot of great stuff about the history of Cartier Paris, Cartier London. I've been working my way through that kind of thing, and it's amazing how actually little there is out there about the history. Because when you're coming from vintage Rolex or vintage Patek, there's so much information, books and websites and forums. But then you go to Cartier and there's a 20-year-old article here, someone who's pieced together a few references and trying to, and you don't get that. And actually, I quite like digging in the weeds and trying to understand where it's all coming from. So
does that make you feel that the future is even brighter? I mean, Cartier's having a moment, no doubt, but
it really is.
The sense that maybe there's more to come in that, from the market.
I mean, I'm late to the game here. You know, let's not kid ourselves. I'm very late to the game. I think Cartier's had a moment now for the last 5 years or so, and I'm definitely coming in at the tail end of that, or the height of the peak, right? So I don't know.
That's the question. Is it the peak? Like, could it become a 6-2 like Paul Newman Daytonas where every collector under the sun's just gone, we need vintage Cartier?
What do you think? You're Mr. Cartier.
I think it deserves that sort of attention, but I also don't want it to have that sort of attention. Obviously, the Sotheby's auction coming up of the 300 pieces, that's going to cause a stir. And I think everyone's going to be really surprised at what money they fetch. And there'll be a knock-on effect on the rest. Yeah.
Is it Hong Kong?
Hong Kong.
Is there a lot there that you really like to look up? Is there one?
God, I mean, yeah.
Which would you be? Which one? And just for anyone out there who's sniffing around, is there one reference?
There's lots of very rare
or rare stuff. Yeah.
There are probably 5 that I've just never seen before, which is, I just love that about Cartier, that it's a brand that keeps surprising you because they've done so many interesting things. And I've been into Cartier for well over 10 years. And I find that fascinating.
This is what Gaurav from High End Time also says. He's very into Cartier and he's been dealing Cartier for quite a while. And he says, every so often something will come up and I'll be like, I've actually never seen that before. What is, always they made it one time and it was just the only one ever made and it's just come to market now and we'll never see it again. Yeah. And it's incredible to think about that.
It's interesting you referenced them as high horology because I actually don't view them as high horology because you might remember like 15 years ago, there was a push into like complicated Cartier. There was a lady actually who headed that division up and they built a manufacturer around the idea of complicated Cartier and then realized no one wanted that. What they wanted was the shapes. And now they are the kings and queens of the shape.
I think through my research and looking up and seeing the THA stuff and, it's undoubted the people who are involved in that are masters of high horology. We're talking about people like Jean, Vianney Holter, Renaud de Poppy. These are the masters of high horology. And would you look at, for example, a Jean chronometric Souverain and say this is entry level? Or would you say actually just because Jean is making it and Jean is behind this is high horology?
You go. No, you go.
I just feel like, so I obviously those earlier watches that Sean was involved in, you can tell they're really impressive compared to sometimes what we see now. But are we also in danger of being like, well, Jean had something to do with this movement, so therefore it must be amazing? Like, what actually was his involvement? Did he single-handedly like make it all and design it all? I just thought he was like a part of a committee that was present
with Denny.
No.
Educator.
So those 3 people formed THA before they had their own brands, and their focus was on complications, and they came up with a really great monopusher chronograph that they were able to sell to Cartier. It also went to Ulysse Nardin. They had that same monopusher chronograph, and those are quite collectible. I've had one before. The dials are a bit dodgy, but and then they also it's in the very, very early Devathune watches as well. But they've made a few really impressive movements. But it's just that there's some involvement from Jean. I don't think he owned it. I think there was rumors that the first 50 poussoir chronographs were the first 50 were hand assembled by Jean or something like that. But I never believe any of those stories. I just think they're a bit. Someone's got number 50 or whatever, or 45, and they're trying to increase the value.
So has this led you to consider a Cartier now?
Yeah. I mean, definitely. I mean, I have been on the lookout now over the last couple of weeks because I don't know yet if I'm ready for a Centre in the way of it's a lot of money. I think we're talking 40 odd £1,000, something like that, even more. I think Hairspring posted a fines the other week where it was 55,000 euros, right, for this exact watch, and that's not this one, but
there's 100 of those, right?
150.
150.
So it's a lot of money, and I'm not sure I'm ready to jump in feet first yet into that.
What would the original of that be worth? Tim, have you seen as a
hundreds of them. Well, at the moment, I don't know, but we had one very, very early. But it was Dauphine sword hands, and we sold it for something like 80 grand, something like that.
Was this before the Cartier wave?
It was, yeah,
Because
it was
now
when people were a little bit unsure.
I thought that watch had already been released though, and then you had an original that came
And
after.
that's possibly
So
right.
it's
Actually,
it's
yeah,
within
21.
those
Yeah.
timelines.
So this is 2021. This
That's
watch
in the
was
last
released.
4
Yeah,
years.
yeah. So really interesting.
I'm sorry if you feel like you've covered this, but I kept telling you about this watch, didn't I? Like before you saw it in person, and I think you kept thinking of like what an American would be like on the wrist, and I kept being like, no, you need to see it in person. You need to see it in person. Like, how is the case in person? Because probably lots of people listening haven't seen it in person, and they really should.
So I would. So there are some watches that look better in photos than they do in person. And I'm sorry to say, but this Baltic is one of them. Yeah.
Gosh, almighty, that was like a kick in the nuts.
I'm like, tell us about Cartier. Yes, this Baltic's
sorry, so you thought that
that.
Baltic looked better in photos?
Just in general, whenever I've handled a Baltic, I've been let down.
Okay.
Versus seeing the amazing photography and
This is the
the
Ile de
design.
Monde with the Tiger's Idar World
Yeah.
Timer they've just released.
Yeah, and I know they're very different price points here, but
It's just an example.
But just an example of a watch that I feel looks way better in photos than it does when I got hands on. This Cartier, and I've been trying to get the right photo. It's so hard to do justice of the curvature around the wrist. And the best I can do is from the underside when I'm reaching for something or drinking a coffee and someone takes a photo and you get that curvature around the wrist. That's the best I can do. But in the photos, when I take it head on like this, it just looks so flat and big, and
Looks like a bit like an American.
it does, right? Yeah.
No, I think it. The best photo of that watch is from someone else's perspective, because then you get to see it at a distance and the curvature. And I think that's almost something I'd say about a lot of Cartiers is that although they're things that I love putting on my wrist, they look so much better on other people. I just think that, I don't know, it says a lot about someone when you see a little yellow gold Cartier dress watch on strapping chaps. I think, you know what I mean? I think there's something quite cool.
Watches and wonders.
Oh gosh, yeah, right.
Yeah, I think so. So, Watches and Wonders. I mean, what a spectacle, right? What a spectacle. I was there, obviously, as an outsider, someone who has never been to one of these trade shows. I'm going to call it a trade show. And my immediate thoughts. So when I walked into the first thing I'll say actually is the whole of Geneva just comes alive. I mean, I came and saw you the first night, the AHCI.
Yeah. Incredible, right?
What just going downstairs into the room, and you've got Sven Anderson there, you've got Kari Voutilainen, you've got Ludovic Balois, you've got Raoul Pardue, you've got Hajime Asaoka's sat right there. You've got real royalty of independent watchmaking all in the same room.
And no one really talks about that little get together. It still is one of those little.
Blew my mind.
Yeah, I'm so pleased you came, because I was messaging saying, here's the location.
Well,
Get down here.
I didn't know what you were inviting me to be completely honest. I just said, Justin's there. Why don't we head there? It must be fun. And then I came there, and I kind of was just a bit taken aback. I was looking around, and I was seeing all these people, and their watches just there, and being able to just talk to Alex from Anderson Genève, and he, the CEO of Anderson Genève, sat next to Sven Anderson, showing me all of their different world times, their enamel, their jump hours, their guilloche, and just talking to them for a good part of half an hour about these watches, the time at Patek, etc.
Vianney Holter.
Vianney Holter.
Just so interesting to chat with. I'd never met him before, but such a nice guy.
Yeah. So that was amazing. So Geneva comes alive, and then the next day I went to the actual show, and my immediate, for people who haven't been there, it's huge. My immediate thought was, this is I can't say anything other than a spectacle. And seeing, for example, Panerai made more effort with their booth than the watches. It was just this amazing underwater tank world that they put together, and it was amazing. It really was amazing. But then on my way home, I understand now what you mean about the immediate visceral response, and then needing to marinate a little bit, because on my way home, I started thinking about it. And I just thought, God, the cost of all this must be huge, right? I mean, the cost of the whole spectacle of people like George Russell coming in for IWC and Usher and Roger Federer, Pierre Gasly, Usain Bolt, you know, the cost of all these people as well as the thing. And then I thought, who the hell is paying for all this? And the answer is us. It's us. It's the viewers. When JRC are increasing their prices 40% in 3 years, or IWC's prices or Panerai prices are all going up, it's to pay for this stuff. And it's not just one show that's happening once a year. You know, you've got Dubai Watch Week, you've got Watches and Wonders, you've got Geneva Watch Days, you've got LVMH Watch Week, and it's just going, it's a road show. And so this has got to be baked into the price of the watches. And I thought to myself, would I rather none of this happened and actually my watch was $3,000 cheaper or a third cheaper than, and it was an interesting thought. But the actual spectacle itself,
Where did you land on it?
I couldn't. I keep going back and forth.
Well, you don't buy many new watches,
No.
anyway. So,
But because
in
of
some way,
that, because I don't see the Reverso is still the same Reverso it was 10 years ago, but it's 2.5 times the price.
the strategy for launching things is interesting, because JLC literally the day after the show closed, they launched a whole series with Mark Newson, like a new Atmos clock, and some really cool things. And I was thinking, God, okay, this is interesting. Like, they spent all that money, they put all that time into the exhibition. They were one of the stars of the show, no doubt, with the new Master Control. We agreed, and their pricing, we did say, was really good in relative terms. So I think now having that as a center, and you can see with the, you know, we've got AP coming back to the show this year for the first time for many years. So the sense is that actually it is a good thing. I'm of the belief, I'm super biased because I'm bloody there and have been for years, but I love that everyone comes together for that moment. And there is an argument to say that's a good thing. But strategically, I'm not sure it even is used now as the ultimate launch pad for a lot of what's to come. I don't know.
I just can't help feel that we're just talking about marketing though. Like, surely everything you buy.
But there's commercials going on. So it should be said that behind the scenes, all of the buyers from all of the retailers, from global partners, is going on behind the scenes. We're looking at the watches, but most of what's going on is deal making, I'd say.
Yeah, but I mean, if you buy anything that's on any F1 car, that £30 million is factored into what you're buying. Just, well, we live it. I think it's better to have the show and know about the stuff.
But hold on. But this doesn't make your watch any better. What I want to buy from a watch,
Yeah, but you wouldn't know the watch existed.
I would though.
If there was no marketing, it's just marketing.
Of course, it's marketing, but we're talking about the scale, right? The scale of what's happening and the people. You know, we can't think that Usher flying in from the States to attend Watches and Wonders for JLC is cheap, right? The people attending
But I bet it's a small part of their marketing.
Yeah, I bet. And I'm not sure that your statement around marketing not making products better is correct. I think you get a lot of feedback from those events, and the hit watches are noted by brands, and they must amend their strategy based on what works and what doesn't work, particularly what doesn't work. So if you're throwing a load of marketing money at something and no one gives a damn about it, then they're not going to do that again. And so it does have a knock-on effect, and watches must improve.
If there was one winner and one loser from the show, so then where were you at? Could be a brand, it could be a product.
Okay, I'm going to go for 2 brands here. Okay, and it's interesting because we've got 2 brands who are both owned by Richemont, who have both been in the doldrums for a little while and are both coming at things in very different ways. And my winner, I think, will be unsurprising for most people, is JLC. I thought they were amazing. The product, and it's, you know, forget the stand, forget all of that. The product itself was absolutely fantastic. When I first saw the Master Control, the new Master Control line in hand, I thought there must be a catch here. There must be a catch because you know, let's take the time only, or time and date. It's 8 mil thick. It's 38 millimeters.
Brand new bracelet.
Which is exquisitely finished. It's up there, you know, with the 222 bracelet. It's got chamfers. It's got the little polished bits. It's got a micro adjustment. I thought there must be something.
Not removable, though, is it?
It's not removable, but neither is a 222.
No, that's fair.
But you know, it has the same dimensions. It's as thin. It wears as good on the wrist. It's a third of the price.
Yeah.
It's a third of a price of a brand new 222 if you can get a 222 at retail. And on top of that, I thought, okay, they must have done what IWC do and put their cheapest movement in, keep the cost down. But they didn't. They made a brand new movement and they've chronometer certified it. They've COSC certified
So you're
it.
now happy with the ambassador costs? Hey, how they've baked those in. So you're now okay with that?
And I hear that Usher has actually been putting these movements together himself in Le Sentier.
So he earns his money.
Yeah.
I had him on in the gym yesterday.
Yeah.
I've got to be honest, in the headphones.
So I thought,
I got it bad when you're home, man.
Yeah.
So you got it bad though for this new mask.
oh my God, there was no, we talked about compromise. Or I talked about compromise on a few episodes ago and there was no compromise. And then I thought, okay, well, the perpetual calendar, you know, IWC make one and that's 14 millimeters thick or 13.5 millimeters thick and then blown up to 42 millimeters for their Angenois perpetual calendar. But no, they presented it to me and it was 9 millimeters thick and it was 39 millimeters.
It looks like the time only.
It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. And I thought, okay, this must be 80 grand. It's not, it's as cheap as the IWC one. It's 40,000, which is a lot of money, but in perpetual calendar land, for a new perpetual calendar on wrist, I thought that was incredible.
What metal is it? Sorry.
Steel,
Well, there's a
There's a
rose.
rose.
gold.
There's a rose as
well.
well. 40 grand still.
40 grand in steel. So then on the other hand, we've got IWC.
You've got a real bee in your bonnet. Anyone who's watched previous episodes will know you've just absolutely
Oh,
laid
and
into them.
even in your blog,
My
you said,
Substack.
I'm going to save that rant
For the podcast.
For the pod.
Go on,
Oh,
give it
so
to us.
cool.
Give it to us.
Lock in everyone.
Here we go.
So, I don't know what is going on with IWC, right? They're a brand which we have all known growing up in the 90s, 2000s, pilots, watch brand, aviation, engineering, etc. Then over the last few years, they come out with they're an engineering brand, the Angenois, we're all about this, we're Genta, blah, blah, blah. A year later, they're an F1 brand, right? Racing cars, F1, we're in this movie, we're plastered all over Toto Wolff and George Russell, etc. We're coming out with all of the different ceramics and colors. And then this year, suddenly they're a space brand.
Space.
What is the message? What are you? You are, and the problem is that the product is not good enough to have this muddle messaging. The product is, the chrono. We're talking about JLC making a perpetual calendar here at 9 mil. They still are releasing a chronograph that's 14.5 mil thick.
But what about the perpetual? The new perpetual now?
But
With
that's
the module
still,
on top?
But it's still 14 mil thick.
It is quite thick.
It's thick.
It is
It's unwearable. Yes,
But finally we've got there, haven't we? That's got to
we
be
haven't.
celebrated.
It can't be. We can't celebrate these things when your competitors are doing it 30% better. You cannot come to a show with a new perpetual calendar when the people next door are doing it 30% better. And this is what I'm trying to get at them. And they're then coming out as saying, well, look at this watch. It's fully loomed from the strap to the
Hang a
buckle.
minute.
It's
What
all
about the
made-
vertical clutch? Because I think you quite liked that, didn't you?
I think the concept is great, but the messaging in a space watch, IWC have got nothing to do with space.
The eternal calendar.
Yeah, but
Is that not?
I mean,
Ethereal.
what are we doing? What are they doing? What are they doing? They need to get their core product right. They need to get that. They are a brand that need to get their chronographs thinner, their perpetual calendars wearable and thinner. They need to really focus on their core product and then start sprinkling the magic sauce of space and cars and F1 and things. But at the moment, it feels like they're a brand run by a team of marketing grads who are just trying to jump on every hype going without.
I don't think I'm about to defend them, but the F1 thing is not new. Like they have been with Mercedes and was Lewis Hamilton for years and years. So like they're not, in my head, they're not all of a sudden an F1 brand.
I'm
Like, they've
talking
always-
product.
But it's still the same product. They've just called it like we've made one for George Russell because he's one of the guys.
But is that excusable? Is that excusable now to be just, again, marketing rather than focusing on the core product, which needs to be better?
But I don't think it takes too much their attention away. Like they go, right, George Russell was one of our sponsored athletes. Should we just make some hands blue and call it George Russell? Like, I think that's, I don't think like the innovation department are like, oh, crumbs, that's another year written off because we had to make the George Russell watch.
But there is no innovation department from what I'm seeing. That they are coming out with a halo product of a space watch or an eternal calendar or something.
Well, why
and
is
then the rest of it is just languishing. And this is where they need to be focused on.
Well, you said that he's focused on the core and you said perpetual calendar. For me, the perpetual calendar's not in the core. Like it's the big pilot, it's chronographs. I used to love the Portuguesa. Like that was a goal watch for me before I'd bought anything. I was like, I just think like as a dress watch.
And do you remember some of the Jubilee ones they did in the
Portofino as
90s?
well.
The little sets of...
Yeah, like there's amount of, I think it's okay to say, like, there's amount of like older people out there that have their IWC on as their granddad or their great granddad because they got their old IWC dress watch on. Like, leave the perpetual calendars. Like, make a really good pilot's watch chronograph and a nice dress watch.
Just this week, we were talking about a Mark, a 36mm,
yeah, lovely.
steel with that sort of beautiful bracelet from the 90s. Tritium dial. Like, that's maybe the more of the core. But
Yeah, I want to buy a Mark
That's
Ivan, like an
I'm
RAF.
completely with Salim, to be honest with you. If IWC gave me a voucher to say, to pick a free watch, I wouldn't know which one to choose because I don't like any of them.
on that note, should we move on to a positive one from you, Jake?
Has
maybe?
he
Or
given
Salim?
his positive or has he just
given
got
you a
his
positive?
Chelsea, yeah.
I
Those are
thought
high and low.
they were brilliant, and at the and their halo product, which is the enamel reversos.
The white gold,
Yeah,
the
wicked.
white gold bracelet as well.
Oh,
for the first time.
waterfall.
Absolutely stunning.
So first of all, I'm gonna say I'm gonna be there next year. I'm in. Like I'm sold. It looked fun. So I've written a highlight and a low light from afar. I've not picked a watch or a brand. I picked a trend. My highlight, which is the downsizing
Thank God.
of watches. So Octo Finissimo 37mm. I'm so curious to try one of those on. Our friend James has already got one on the wrist.
Yeah.
So try and see his or pop into a shop. Annual calendar from Langzona 36mm. Lovely.
Yes.
The new Nautilus, which by the way, I've just been wearing the 5811 for the last 20 minutes.
Yeah.
That sucks. I really would love to see. I'd really love to see the new Nautilus. The ellipse back in classic proportions.
3738. Oh, it's that one there. Yep.
I mean, I'm sure there's more, but I don't know. I just felt like we're seeing it. We're seeing brands are going, you know what? Maybe we should make something
Even
that's
GLC,
wearable.
actually. Yeah, they said the 38, 39mm master control. Those were, big. Their sports watches have been critically.
I'm so here for it. So
Just the general theme.
That felt really good to see. I was just like, these new watches popping up left, right, center. And I said, like, I don't really care about going to Watches and Wonders because it's just new, big, modern stuff that I don't care about.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden I started going, oh, hold on. Like, there's stuff here. Low light, which met my expectations. And I've decided to write a quote because I said in the last episode, we will see new dials, new bezels, and maybe a bracelet from Rolex. And as Salim gave us a lovely 5-minute speech about how the Milgauss is going to come back and it's going to be amazing. And they're going to pull all these from design bits from old references. And I think you said about the Padalone in the 1908 case. We've got a nice Jubilee dial, 36mm from Rolex.
It's quite nice, but
Lovely dial. Obviously, new dial on the Daytona, and it's now like 100-gram watch, which is still Daytona at retail. It's 60 something potentially. It's just, I don't know. It's just what I expected. And then there is a 100 anniversary Oyster, which we said like, okay, mate, they have done it, but it's naff, isn't it? Like,
it's way naff.
It's a 41mm.
I really don't like it.
I tell you what, I like the solid gold Oyster petrels.
Yeah,
But
With the little
30 something
stone
grand.
indices.
Yeah. Like,
Really
I wouldn't be buying one, but
the Aventurine day dates. I don't know if that's off catalog or whatever, but there was one that we were showing.
40mm.
They were
Lovely
40mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With the diamond indices. That's
Yeah.
on catalogue.
But new dials. Well,
Yeah.
thanks for bringing a new dial this year.
I agree.
Yeah, I don't know. I semi-called it, but that's it's fine, wasn't it? I'm over it already.
Another thing was enamel though, and Daytona.
Yeah,
did a lot
the
of that.
Daytona is really cool, but it is a steel watch, isn't it? So there's a
Well,
platinum
yeah, but with
ring
a
around the bezel, and there's a platinum ring.
Yeah, which to my doesn't justify the price hike
It's,
above the
if
steel.
you-
Like a
if you-
steel Daytona is £10,000 or £12,000 now. I
Might be
don't know.
13, 14.
And this is like 40 or 50.
No, it's
40K.
it's more than that.
It's 40K.
I think it's 60, 70 odd,
I don't think it is.
and it's got about £500 worth of platinum.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It
Like,
just
if you went
makes
to a
no
shop
sense.
and bought some platinum and made a ring,
I think-
it costs about 500 quid to put that in your Daytona.
I think it's the enamel dial.
Dial,
that-
and it's a
that's
new way of
interesting
making it.
Yeah.
But it's not delivered in the same way you would expect it traditionally. That's the other thing, which
It's
some people have
ceramic,
picked up
isn't
on.
it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's the
Yeah.
material of
And brilliant, like they're innovating and they're doing new
They're
stuff.
trying to do things more consistently, I
So
think.
yeah,
And,
so
and it's
Rolex have told
hard
us-
wearing enamel.
Yeah.
So in theory, you could go and play tennis in it and not worry about wearing enamel.
So Rolex have
Cool.
told us to check in on the 12th of May, which is in a couple of weeks. And there apparently is going to be a new release there where there has been some patents flying about. I don't know if you've seen it on the Rolex
Oh,
Instagram. Yep. So they've said
big date.
So they've said something big is coming on the 12th of May. So that's interesting. Maybe they wanted to just, and maybe that's similar to what Tudor are going to do because they had a naff year as well.
Yeah,
if I could, I was going to
Carry
jump
on.
in and say I'm not normally instantaneously negative, but my sense on Tudor was just for 100th anniversary. I just didn't see enough from the brand. You look, I mean, they're different brands, but look at Vacheron last year celebrating its big anniversary and the volume of product coming through, which was outrageous. You know, Tudor, it should be playing in that realm in their own way, not doing the same sort of thing, but their own way. The highlight for me was the only watch I left thinking I'm going to buy. Because this is the metric for me this year. I was speaking to a friend at the show. I was like, what would you actually buy? Like today, if you had to put your money down, what would you buy? And for me, it was very clear. There was one watch, and I am slightly biased because I did work with them to do an event and you guys kindly came to it. But the Octa Finis is 37 mil. I legitimately, because the price hasn't gone up, it's staying the same as the 40 mil. I just think that now with screw down crown, you enlightened me to that actually, Tim, in the meeting, because I didn't realize some of the later, my Octa Finismos I had didn't have screw down crowns, but then the later ones did. So now with that, the buckle's been redone, which was
The buckle is a game changer because when the bracelet links are so thin and often made of ceramic or whatever, when you open that watch, it feels like you're going to like break it and you're like, oh God. But now you've got that little pinchy thing. It's great.
And I struggled with the sizing on them because it always felt very loose or very tight as well. And I think that's improved. There's no micro adjust, but it's improved with the ergonomics of that design. So that watch, sandblasted titanium, is like nothing else. I think we all love it
it's
for
really cool.
its feel.
I would like to try it on, but still. Can I just add one thing to my Rolex thing so I can picture what people might say? Fair play to Rolex for charging loads of money for a steel Daytona because the secondary market's going to demand it. So if they want to make the money instead, kind of don't begrudge them for that. So like, why would you sell it for 15 if it's going to be 50 grand on the secondary market? You might as well just make a load of margin. So I do get that.
But just to say that this Daytona is actually off catalogue. This is not in the catalogue. They have said specifically this Daytona is an off catalogue piece, such as the Le Mans or, so it is in the same price range as off catalogue Daytonas. That was all solid gold with, but this does have Rolex's first enamel dial, which is interesting.
Tim, winner and loser for you of the show. Great to have you there, by the way. It
Thank
was lovely
you.
to see you in the mix.
I really enjoyed it. Yeah. Neither a winner nor a loser. Cartier did a great job. They always do. I think they had a absolutely brilliant year. It felt a little bit like they got a sort of scattergun out and just like peppered the whole place with brand new releases of watches that we've only just had re-released, like a Centre and a Coche and a Normal.
I thought agrees for people out there actually
I
handling.
know,
I was
I
like, wow,
know.
I wonder what people are going to think because that's like a bit of burgundy on the dial.
Yeah.
What's that? And now suddenly it's like, oh God.
That watch is great, and to give more people a chance to buy it isn't necessarily a bad thing. Feels like a commercial play though. But the new Cloche is
The
really
nicest one for me was that tonneau. The
Yes.
time only with Roman numerals. So
Yeah,
Gear
yeah.
Shedar, that smaller one. I saw that on
the,
Johnny
the
Davis
Tortue.
from Esquire wearing it next to me. It was
Yeah.
like, well, that looks amazing on him. The Tortue.
That was also our George, the cameraman, George, his
favorite, yeah, brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
And my favorite was the platinum tank normal on bracelet. That was
the bracelet
stunning.
is exceptional. The details are unbelievable.
A bit of red on the dial.
Yeah. I know.
Just that watch, do you know?
60, something like that. Yeah, but really, really cool. So they had a blinding year, and obviously they released the Monopoussoir with a red accent, which is
I can't
nice.
get past that 12, that giant 12 on the Monopoussoir.
I think it works brilliantly near vintage. And
Why was it done? I just still can't get my head around it. I just would love it not to have had that, just because I love the K-ship so much.
I like it.
Yeah,
Well,
do you
they
like it?
did
Yeah.
one. They did one a couple of years ago.
Without
Be
it.
fine. Yeah.
Yeah. Don't know why.
It's iconic.
It probably is. It probably is. It just gets me.
history.
Gets me a little bit.
But my real highlight was Parmigiani Florio.
Thank God someone said that.
Yeah, we can't not. They absolutely smashed it with a number of watches, not just the chronograph Mysterious, but that watch is worth saying a few things about because it's so subtle. It just looks like a time-only watch, and then with their little pusher on the bottom, the 8 o'clock position, it jumps straight to a chronograph, which you didn't realize was even there, and leaves behind hands that are still telling the right time. And I imagine if you had that running for a while, you'd have a period of time when you've got 5 hands all doing crazy stuff, and it might be a little bit anxiety inducing, but it's fucking impressive. And then it's all on a mono pusher. You press it again, it stops, press it again, resets, and it goes away, and you've got a time only watch
In
again.
an insanely crowded world of watchmaking and design, Guido, the CEO there, has come out with this very singular idea, this vision, almost like Hermes has this vision for movement in their adverts and everything. He said, we need to be hidden, refined, almost like whisper, like everything complication-wise, dial-wise, everything is whisper. And he really has moved into that. It's been quite remarkable. They had the sort of Minute Rattrapante little launched at Dubai, which again was a hidden thing.
I have been a bit
GMT.
skeptical about Parmigiani. I had kind of thought, listen, a lot of people are getting them on wrists. We've seen them on a lot of wrists of people that we see on YouTube and things like that. And I thought, I'm not so sure. But having seen them, I was so impressed with that chronograph Mystique or whatever it's called.
And the pricing's quite reasonable for that as well.
35 for a brand new chronograph, which is in such an ingenious way. It sounds crazy to say that, but it's...
I think
Well,
even
what
the
you're getting.
GMT Rantrapant is high 20s now, and it feels so much more complicated than that.
And then also, we need to talk about the dials of the Tori.
Well, I was about to.
Absolutely
Take it away. Take it away, Tim. Yeah.
So the other thing about Parmigiani Florio is the dials on the Toric. No, it's not just the dials. The whole Toric range, but it's particularly the hammered dials. I think they're bloody amazing. That's absolutely amazing. But I like the split seconds chronograph. I don't know if you saw the movement on this at all. The normal Toric line had these amazingly engraved 18 karat gold, I think, movements, which were beautiful. But the split second has a completely different movement, and it's objectively beautiful. I
price
love
point on those Torics
it's high.
is high
It's really high.
versus the Torics.
I know.
I think about 70,000
I think it's
Swiss francs.
I think it's probably justified given
Yeah, it's a gold movement. What's the comp for that?
Yeah.
Jean is the other. I can really think of a gold movement.
Exactly. It's a Jean similar, So yeah, I'm just really pleased that they're getting a lot of attention this year. They deserve it. They really
so
do.
deserve it. Talk about innovation,
And-
putting your nuts, for lack of a better term, putting your nuts on the line and doing
This is
something.
what we
That's
wanna
what you want to
see.
see, right? That's what you want to see.
I just don't want to see...
This is years and years of technical innovation. I sat down with Guido as soon as I arrived at Geneva and filmed a little film with him about the two things. And the whole team were like, they're a lovely, lovely team. They're sort of all stars from lots of different brands as well, which is interesting. They've come from different brands they're working with them now, and Sandos family, because they were up for sale a few years ago, and seemingly that's been taken off the market, and now they're doubling down.
But they're spending money on developing the watches. They're not flying in Usain Bolt or whoever else, and that's really showing. And I think so many people would agree with me that they were the winners this year, and that's not through giving everyone free champagne and flying people in and giving them hotels.
There
and
was
whatever.
a nice piece of leather good. I did see a zip.
I
zip
did.
pouch
I
of
did
some.
get one
I
of
didn't get
those.
one of those, but I did see and hear those
I did
looked
get one of
good.
those, but that's
Those
not the
look good.
reason I'm being kind to them. I promise.
There we go.
Losers. I was going to say Tudor. I was really disappointed. I think we all hoped for a lot more from them given the anniversary year, but I guess they're just keeping it in their back pocket for later. I thought Audemars Piguet might actually bring something new, but they didn't.
What?
They brought that fucking Virtu phone thing, which was sorry, I'm swearing. I don't know. But yeah, I thought that was a slight disappointment.
I quite liked that they didn't come at us with a load of Rolex.
Well, no,
That was-
I'm grateful for
nice.
that. But
They did the
God
ladies'
damn it.
watch, that sort of shape to movement thing, although
bring something
whether it's shaped or not is
interesting.
up for grabs, because there's a bit like the Perpetual in the Cubitus. They've added that sort of grill on the back to give it the sense that it's a shaped movement. It's not. So there's been some funny business going on at AP there with that watch maybe, and with Patek sort of trying to answer some questions, but not really. With Patek, sorry. I mean, there's an argument. Patek sort of missed the mark. I mean, we love the 38mm Nautilus, right? And comparing it to this white gold one,
Yes.
the platinum, really, I was struck by that watch. No running seconds, super thin. It sunk into my wrist like nothing else. The 38mm was just, and we've talked about the 38mm Nautilus that was produced for 1 year, a couple of years, 5800, right?
5800.
But that was amazing. But did we really see anything like they've gone back to doing? What some people would say is the best ellipse ever. They just got back to doing that, and they're doing the right size Nautilus, arguably.
Which is good. They're also doing. Oh, sorry, you finish. I've got one last negative I was going to go on to.
There's just a thing that like I feel like most watch brands, when they want to make a super limited run of something, they finally make it in the proportions and the designs and the colors that you want. Like this, I just feel like constantly, like that watch came out. Obviously, it's hard to buy a Nautilus anyway, but then there are limited to 2,000 watches.
Same with Vacheron with their overseas.
Jumbo,
they've suddenly come at us with this super
Salmon.
thin 39mm salmon, but it's platinum and limited to 250 pieces. But why don't you do it on the overseas?
It's going to come. I think I don't know anything genuinely, but my sense is that model is going to be an absolute smash in the next years.
But they released an update to overseas last year, right? Why didn't they not
Yeah.
make it
But
better?
it's just still, that's just a common trend in this industry, which is like, oh, you know the one we really want? We're gonna make 100 of them. Like, make 10,000 of them. Like, like you could
kills it,
take
doesn't it?
over the
that
market.
kills it. That kills that's what the market's built on. Is I mean, look,
But I'm not saying
I'm not
necessarily.
sure. Are we a buyer though? Are we if they were available? Because that Nautilus is about 90 grand, right, in platinum. So it's limited, but
This may be too niche, but do you remember the only watch where Breguet bought out that brown dial chronograph based on the X-Hex, whatever it's called? And they bought out like a brown dial. It was really, and they were just like, yeah, we're just gonna make one of them.
Well, Tudor
I was
did-
like, why should now? Like that is
Tudor
a
did the
watch that
ceramic
would sell
black, right?
endlessly.
They did the
Yeah.
black bay for only watching like 2018 or 19, and now we've just got the bracelet for it. So it's taken a few years to get.
Yeah, and maybe it would come out in 10 years' time. But I don't know. I just feel there's a trend where it's like, nothing you actually want. Yeah, no, I'm not gonna make that.
I was feeling better
We're
about
going
my
to prove that we
38mm.
can make it.
38mm
Not to
Aquanaut.
jump around, but just finish my train of thought on Watches and Wonders. The worst watch there, I think, was the Cubitus with the slatted monstrosity. I mean, do you know what? I was so shocked that they managed to make such a bad watch even worse. How? Yeah. No, but then you've got the same design team that are bringing out beautiful 5610 and 3738 in with a green dial. People that clearly have taste. And then maybe it is right. Maybe they just get their grads to do it.
What were they
or-
thinking there though? Because they've
I
just
have no idea. I
they've
think they
literally
weren't
just covered that
thinking.
up. It's a cover up, isn't it?
It's
From what I can see, it's an additional piece.
I'm really conflicted about the Cubitus because I mean, it was received very, very poorly, and I think the one word that I would use to describe it is lazy. They've just taken a bracelet from Nautilus. They've just the same dial as the Nautilus, and they've just squared it off a bit and released it initially. And I thought, okay, maybe we need to give it a chance. When they last year then released the smaller versions, which were
Midsize was
better.
better.
It was
Midsize
better. It
was
was
better.
still, I would still
Better.
prefer a Nautilus, a 3800 or a 5800, but it was better. And Thierry stood by it, and I wondered what his game was there, because he stood by it and said this was my design, and I wondered whether it was, like how a football manager comes out at the end of the game, like Jose Mourinho used to do all the time, and he wouldn't throw his players under the bus. He used to sit at the front and say, "No, this was on me. I'm the manager. I'm taking this." Much like in industry we do as well. The blame lies at the top, right?
He said he designed it.
He did say that. I wonder whether he did really design it, or he was just taking the heat
from
for the design team.
I think he's probably trying to do the opposite. I think he thinks it's great, and he was trying to take in his head the credit.
Yeah. But this
There was some rogue images of him launched this week during Watch Wonders. There's a couple of him in like different bars with. There's one with some guy pulling his shirt open. He's got tattoos all over his chest, and there he is, sort of hugging him, like sort of. I don't think there was a beer in hand, but it was a bit weird. It was a bit odd.
you don't know these days what's AI and what is.
No, you don't.
Yeah, so
I wasn't.
yeah,
I wouldn't do that.
yeah.
I wouldn't do any of that.
There were a few hidden gems as well. I'm gonna just seeing here the Zenith GFJ.
Yeah.
This is honestly not a watch I had on my radar before Watches and Wonders. I saw it drop on your site, but the one that they released this year,
Bloodstone.
with the Bloodstone, kind of this beautiful green dial.
Yellow bracelet, yellow gold
Yellow
bracelet. It
gold.
is so old money.
It's
pure old
amazing.
money.
It's just the dial. And then it got me looking at this, and actually this is in lapis is so nice, and they made a tantalum one. And this is what I want to see from Zenith, to be honest. This
Incredible.
is really what I want to see from them.
Incredible how different that product is to some of the portfolio, like some of the Pilot's watches, for example. In hand, they're just chalk and cheese versus, this and that. I've got to say, though, we do want to come to this in this conversation, I think. And I'm saying it because we've got two of them on the table, which is quite unusual. We've got these, Salim this week, just basically, when we were preparing for the show, he sort of had an assault. Not unusual for Salim. He took a shot at me and he said, "I don't get these sport auto." And he came out the blue and he
He's
took
so
it.
proud of
He
himself.
came out swinging. He said, "I just don't understand the sport auto." So Laura Ferry launched the Traveller version, which was completely the natural progression, because we know the Traveller from the Galet, from the classic Galet, and now we see it in the sports model, which has been a smash hit for the brand. I would say that the photos don't do this watch justice. Like you said earlier, about the Baltic, some photos don't look. Now, what this does, because the bezel's very different from, where's the Nautilus gone here? Where's the white gold?
You can't miss it.
There it is. Sorry, there it is. So, okay, so this is a very flat bezel. This does look like it's been stung by a bee a little bit, right? Because the photos don't really do it justice. But the minute you see it, and funny enough, I actually spoke to Laurent the other day. He doesn't speak English, but through a translator, I said to him, "How did you come to this sort of very extravagant bezel? Because that really changes the whole look of it." He's like, "No, that wasn't originally there. I didn't want this ultra flat dial." He said, "The minute I gave it this curvature, it immediately found what I was looking for in the design." And so you do have this curvature, which is echoed in their round watches, the Galets, the classic case watches as well. So I wanted to get these two side by side because it's very rare that you get these two side by side. And I should say, this is the man who took these Genta drawings. He would never say it, but his team was involved in taking it and making it the watch that we know and love in the Nautilus, right?
So I'll tell you why I didn't, it wasn't quite as aggressive as you're making out, Justin. But so when I saw the Traveller in Geneva,
Do you not like it?
a watch with so many curves and curvature, and they did such a great job in trying to keep that. He says it's like a stone that's been
The pebble.
a pebble that's been over time in the river, and then he puts two square pushers on
That was a mistake.
on the side, and it just didn't quite fit with the. aesthetic of.
Sorry,
of
I don't love the pushes either. Everything is round and then the push is square. That
you know,
seems
even the
wrong.
crown is. I really like this onion crown. It's really really nice. So
Just have a wand of it, by the way. Just to screw down the crown, because this is the thing about this watch, is that you absolutely have to. It's full titanium. You have to get hands on with it.
This is that. Have you put it on the wrist yet?
for an automatic watch. It's amazing that it's horizontal.
That's like a pocket watch. That's like an old pocket watch.
So let me tell you why I thought it was. So it has always left me feeling a bit cold, right? And I think there's 3 reasons for that. I feel like individually, each of these things I really like. So the case I think is really, really nice. I don't love the bracelet, to be honest. I think the bracelet to me feels like it belongs on a Grand Seiko. And, you know,
That's harsh.
it's to
I
me.
think you're looking.
Celine,
I am.
you've not tried it on. Put it on.
Hold on. Let me finish. Let me finish. So I think the bracelet doesn't, when I look at a Nautilus like this 3800 and how.
Why are you comparing it to that one? Just out of interest, when we've got this is much more of a like for like. I know this is white gold,
I
but
mean, it's the same. It's the same
the
bracelet.
proportions.
It's the same. It's the same bracelet, and this to me just feels the taper on this. It feels so much more delicate. It feels a lot more refined.
no taper.
There's no taper
on that.
and it feels a lot more refined on the Nautilus, and it's the same on
Jake's exasperated.
on the same on the Vacheron. So that's one thing, but the bracelet is it's okay. It's not a bad bracelet. You know, I like Grand Seiko. I really like Grand Seiko.
And they're not renowned for their bracelets, though.
No.
Exactly. And I wanted,
Which is why you're wrong.
well, I wanted Laurent Ferrier to come at me with something that would rival the Nautilus or the Royal Oak, right? And
This is so much more interesting, isn't it? That's so much cooler.
interesting. Yeah, it's interesting. Fine. The next thing that I didn't love was the dial. So the dial to me felt a bit flat. So I really like the date window. I think the date window, I love the sector, I love the small seconds. It's just the color of the blue felt slightly flat to me.
I think your dial looks really good, though. Mine's not so good.
So the dials we've had lots of conversations about with friends out there who've got them. They're all slightly different. So Jean makes those dials. It's the Jean dial manufacturer, and they are, some of them are very gradient, gradiated. I mean, it's the word I'm looking for. Gradiated. There's a French word for it. Some of them are more flat. Yeah, it's not fumé, but it's similar. This is quite my blue. My blue is quite sort of a consistent blue. This one is much darker, and a friend Matt in the UK actually. So there you go. But that's charm, I think, and I love the blue versus the green loom, because the green loom.
Oh, okay. So you like that?
I like that. It's very modern to me. Very modern.
So that was the third thing. To me, it was the loom on this and the hands. I love the assegai hands of Laurent Ferrier on his other watches. To me, I actually think they're the best hands in the industry. The
the
assegai
African
hands.
spear hands.
Oh.
He's obsessed with African spears, and they're an African spear compressed
Yeah.
down to be very
I
thin.
wish he'd found a way of doing that in this rather than.
I love those hands.
Yeah.
I love those hands.
So maybe it's just a matter of, and to me, when he brought them together, I just felt there was a bit of a mismatch between that. But it's not. It looks great on your wrists. It does look really nice on your wrists.
Could I suggest a game? We've got 5 minutes, maybe 10 minutes. We're super lucky that we've got 5811 Nautilus. We've got a Vacheron 222. We've got a Lange Odysseus. We've got an Overseas or Royal Oak. Streamliner as well.
3800.
Could everyone say their top 3 in order of like 1, 2, 3 or 1, 2, 8?
Daytona. Just in case,
Daytona.
Dustin Madalena.
We've got a Gen
Like-
1 Overseas.
And a
Gen 1 Overseas,
So,
which is
so like that is like the
not dissimilar,
integrated bracelet still sports watches in. We've got all the blue dials basically.
this is outstanding. I mean, I this mid-size Rolex for
What's
me.
your 1, 2, 3?
I would be, that Nautilus bracelet is it's hard to push back on, actually.
That is a massive watch.
I'm not happy on their size now. I'm not.
Here's
That,
the
that
3800.
bracelet is,
Look at the 3800. I mean, imagine that a
3800.
millimeter bigger. It's just can't beat
I
that.
would say that might take it for me, actually. Yeah, I would say that takes it for me. Followed shortly behind with that, actually, just because I thoroughly enjoy it. Where are you, Jake? Where are you?
I've been trying on. I just tried on most of these. That Nautilus specifically is massive. It's out. The Overseas is too big. I just found the 222 weirdly. I don't know why I'm criticizing like all the most famous watches, but it's very.
She's very
it's
good.
just very straight. Like you can't really see the dial in that sense. It's like
That's
the
very
bracelet
good.
just carries on. But it's all kind of in line, isn't it? It kind of feels like a thick bracelet rather than a watch.
But it's beautifully tapered, not
I think-
aggressive.
I
It's not
think
too
this
aggressive.
I think this is the most comfy
Yeah,
of them to wear.
Mm.
I'm torn on the aesthetic, but as a watch, just like I talked about the show part at the beginning, as a watch just to own, wear, and enjoy is up there. Then probably the neo vintage Royal Oak and Nautilus would be up there as well. But just I don't know. There's something about like on Instagram, the Nautilus probably looks amazing, but I think as a watch to own, wear, and enjoy, the Laurent Ferrier has its merits.
That's why I love the watch, because I wear it so much. It's the perfect holiday watch because it's screw down crown. It's super comfortable on titanium.
The Odysseus is actually pretty good.
It's amazing.
It's a bit big for me, but actually I quite like it.
Yeah. Anyone who has one of these says they don't take it off. Anyone I know who's got one loves them.
I mean, my
And then
one.
we'll wrap, boys. That'll be our final close.
Yeah, I mean, my
Oh, I want your 1, 2, 3.
is the 3800. I just think that the size for me is perfect. The design is iconic. The bracelet's amazing. It's so flat.
You need one of those with.
I feel like
fits
we
you
need to
so
push for
nicely.
like modern stuff, like the stuff that's still being made. Because what we've all just got is like the best ones.
Well,
the
5800.
48 years ago.
You know, if
40
you want
years
a neo vintage, a 5800 made in 2005
yeah,
or
but stuff
6.
that's made right now.
Have you ever handled one?
5610.
Yeah, the new 5610. There you go. So that's my one. That's my one. I think my number 2 would probably also be the Royal Oak.
Modern Royal Oak.
Modern Royal 37 mil if I had to go for one, you know, not a vintage one. And then the third would be the 222 because I agree with Justin, the bracelet is amazing on that. It feels
I think the Laurent Ferrier wears better than the 222. Wearability.
I do too.
Honestly, the bracelet, it got a lot of stick, this Sport Auto bracelet. It did. Because it didn't match maybe the case, the head of the watch. But actually, it's bloody comfortable to wear. Honestly, I'm saying this after a few years of owning this now. I wear this on holiday the whole time and it is incredible.
I think that's
it never knocks it.
it's functionality. Like functionality on Instagram isn't sexy, but in real life has endless merit.
Would I prefer for it to be thinner, more like the Nautilus, like really fine? Yeah, or much more like that. Yeah, I would actually have preferred it. Would I have liked a little bit more taper? Even though this top link here does give you a little bit of drama, just a tad of drama. Would I have liked it not to have reflection, like the reflections are a nightmare to shoot?
so what you're saying to me
This is what he doesn't like.
is there are things you would refine about
Yeah.
that watch, and that's what
Yeah,
that's what
right.
I'm getting at as well. Is I just think there's enough there that I would love. I've loved Laurent Ferrier because I know he can do it, and I see it in his other watches. I would have loved him to refine with the new Traveller and with this. It's like with Langer with this. I love the Odysseus. I love the design. But this generation, I'm waiting for them to come out with their refined Odysseus. I think there will be one. I would love them to bring out a refined Odysseus that is just, that addresses all of the critiques of this one. And then it would be great. Kind of like they did with the Zeitwerk, where they had their first Zeitwerk that was, I know you like it a lot, but there was a lot of critiques and they made it a bit smaller. The movement was a bit better.
Just
fitted
thinner,
better, it
not
was
really
thinner.
smaller.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like, may I do my 3?
Yeah, and then we'll close, I think, because we're getting our videographer George.
5610, number 1.
Yeah.
I just think Nautilus design for me is still king. It's really, really that good. The bracelet is great. The dials are great. And I'd still love Patek. Then it's Odysseus and then it's Laurent Ferrier. I think the Odysseus is just, there's something about it that I'll always enjoy. It feels technical, but it's also not one that's very shouty. I never feel like it's going to get ripped off my
They
wrist.
made a 38 mil Odysseus, would it go number 1?
We'll see. Yeah.
It's all in the execution.
But Laurent Ferrier is the most comfortable of all of them.
I mean, that does look great on you, Jake, to be honest. Maybe it's because my wrists are so small and slim,
It's
but
just comfy. It's just nice. It's just
it looks
nice
good
to
on
wear.
you. It looks good on you. Maybe you should ask Easter
Well,
Bunny
I think
Tim.
Justin will get the new one. Is my prediction. I think
Grey
it
Dog,
I think it fits your lifestyle.
Beautiful.
Then we can, offer him $5,000 for this.
Grey Dog's beautiful.
All right.
All right, guys,
Cool.
listen, that's probably us, isn't it?
That's probably
Yes.
us.
I think so. Thanks for watching.
Thanks for joining us as always.
Cheers.
Thank you. Bye.